It was right there.
Wait, thanks. Good morning and welcome to the County of Berks Commissioners Board meeting for December the 12th. It is 10 a.m. and we will call the meeting to order. We'll start by observing a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and I will ask my Executive Assistant, Barbara Lopez, to please read the public comment notice.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used, Teams Q&A, Facebook, and YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Before we move to the approval of the minutes, just want to let everyone know that Commissioner Leinbach is joining us virtually today for the meeting. Now move to the approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? If none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Before we move on, just so I want to let you know, yesterday, Wednesday the 11th, we had an executive session in which we covered litigation, contract negotiations, personnel, and real estate. Move to the public comment section on agenda items. Do we have any agenda items, any public comment on agenda items? None. Okay. We'll move along to the agenda. Item number 1, authorizing from budget adopt a resolution authorizing the 2024 budget transfers in the amount of $5,735,074 and 2024 appropriations in the amount of $1,816,557 per listing dated December 6 of 2024. Under purchasing, item A, adopt a resolution authorizing a recommendation to award and further authorizing the Director of Contracts and Procurement to execute a contract as a result of an ITB for food provisions, milk, for a period of 3 years for the jail system, Berks and the BCYC shelter program. In accordance with the agreement, unit prices shall be adjusted monthly based on the Pennsylvania Milk Marketing Board Area 2 pricing, less quantity discount based on an aggregate delivery total of 1,000 quarts as follows. And it goes to Clover Farms Dairy on 3300 Pottsville Pike in Reading. And then we have the estimated annual expenditure is $204,731.03 based upon historical actuals from December of 2023 through October of 2024. And we have the 16 items listed here. The county reserves the right to extend the agreement for 5 additional 1-year terms upon mutual agreement of both parties in accordance with the terms of the contract governing the unit prices. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing a recommendation to award and further authorizing the Director of Contracts and Procurement to execute a contract as a result of request for proposal for the Berks County Workforce Development Area Post-Pandemic Adult Talent and Demographic Study reissued as follows. Thomas P. Miller and Associates, doing business as TPMA from Indiana in Indianapolis, Indiana. Total not to exceed $119,363.67, and the contract of the execution is through 6/30 of 2025. The county reserves the right upon mutual agreement of both parties to extend the agreement for an additional 9 months. Item C is adopt a resolution authorizing a recommendation to award and further authorizing the Director of Contracts and Procurement to execute a 3-year contract as a result of a request for proposal for surveying services for the Berks County Department of Agriculture for agricultural land preservation as follows. And it's for Spot, Stevens, and McCoy from 1047 North Park Road, Reading, Pennsylvania. And it shows the rates for year 1, which is January 1, 2025 to December 31, 2025. The vendor is required to hold the unit prices above fixed and firm for a period of 1 year and to allow for cap redetermination in pricing in accordance with the terms of the contract governing the unit prices for the remaining term of the contract, resulting in an agreement for a total of 3 years as detailed in the request for proposal. The county reserves the right to enter into negotiations with the vendor beyond the periods notated above to further extend the agreement. Under Commissioner Linebaugh, item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Yvonne Stroman, Reading, PA, to the Berks County MHCD Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring December 31 of 2027. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Dr. Michelle Reichert Huff, Reading, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County MHCD Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring December 31 of 2027. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Kevin Lurch, Muhlenberg, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Planning Commission for a 4-year term expiring December 31st of 2028. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Debbie Stutzman, Fleetwood, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring December 31 of 2027. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Amy Sundstrom, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring December 31 of 2027. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Anne Marie Grill, Reading, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring December 31 of 2027. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Kimberly McGrath, Douglasville, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Agricultural Land Preservation Board for a 3-year term expiring December 31 of 2027. Under Commissioner Rivera, item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Greg Eshelman, Moan, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Agricultural Land Preservation Board for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st of 2027. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Michael Emery, Reading, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Parks and Recreation Board for a 4-year term expiring on December 31st of 2028. Under Commissioner Santoni, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Jeremy Meck, Wilmersdorf, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Agricultural Land Preservation Board for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st of 2027. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Steve Moan, Wilmersdorf, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Agricultural Land Preservation Board for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st of 2027. Under Commissioners, item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the Vice Chair to execute all necessary documents between the County of Berks, grantor, and Service Electric Cablevision, Inc., grantee, granting an easement and right-of-way in the area of Upper Van Reed Road, Bern Township, and Topahawken Road, Spring Township, as fully outlined in Exhibit A and Exhibit B to the easement for fiber optic cable lines and associated equipment. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the Vice Chair to execute the commercial lease agreement between the Reading Regional Airport Authority and the County of Berks for office space for the Berks County Sheriff's Department Satellite Office for a 5-year term beginning January 1 of 2025 and ending December 31st of 2029. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Lisa Glancy, Sinking Spring, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Housing Authority for a 5-year term expiring December 31st, 2029. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Christian Leinbach, Reading, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Conservation District for a 1-year term expiring December 31st of 2025. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the Vice Chair and John T. Adams, District Attorney, to execute the Savin Maintenance and Service Agreement between the Pennsylvania District Attorneys Institute, PDAI, and the County of Berks, effective January 1, 2025 through December 31, 2025, to implement and use PA Savin system to enhance its responsibilities for victim notification and provide additional notification services to county residents. Further authorizing the Vice Chair and John Adams District Attorney to execute any future Savin maintenance and service agreement between the Pennsylvania District Attorneys Institute and the County of Berks if there is no cost to the County of Berks. Item F, adopt a resolution amending resolution number 387-2024 to correct the expiration date of the reappointment of Dave Mates, Reading, Pennsylvania, to the Planning Commission from June 30, 2028 to December 31st of 2028. All other terms of resolution number 387-2024 shall remain in full force and effect. Number 2, motion to authorize the execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the contract agenda listing dated December 9 of 2024. And there are a total of 16 contracts for adult probation, jail system, juvenile probation, and the sheriff's office. There is 1. For the area agency on aging, there are 2. Children and youth services, 3. Commissioner's office, 1. Coroner's office, 1. Economic development, 1. Election services, 1. Facilities and operations, 3. Library system, 1. Print and mail and print center, 1. And workforce development board, 1. Item 3 is a motion to authorize execution of the payments and electronic transfers for the week ending December 13 of 2024. And item 4 is a motion to authorize execution of employee payroll disbursements dated December 17 of 2024.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 None opposed. The motion carries. Okay, we'll now move on to reports of the treasurer and the controller. We'll start with the treasurer, Mitchell R. Darkcourt.
Excuse me. Thank you, Commissioner. Today we have an opening balance of $212,366,929.59. We have a balance to clear of $4,832,476.29, leaving us with a balance of $207,534,453.30. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Controller Joe Rutterow.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. For the week ending December 12th, 2024, we have a total cash disbursement of $4,918,497.57. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll now move on to the report of the Chief Operations Officer, Kevin Barnhart. He and the Deputy Larry are off-site today, but I believe Jesse is going to be presenting the report. Just wanted to see your face. Okay, so we have no report from the COO and Deputy COO today. Okay, we'll move on to the Commissioner's comments. I will start with Commissioner Linebaugh, who is joining us online.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera. I just am going to report on one item. Last week, I was at the National Association of Counties Board of Directors meeting in Sonoma County, California. I'm one of two board representatives elected for a one-year term from Pennsylvania. George Hartwick, commissioner from Dauphin County, is the other commissioner. Both of us were able to participate. There were a number of very interesting workshops and programs. I just want to share my experience with a few of those. On Thursday, December 5th, I participated in two workshops. The first one, we had a couple buses of commissioners from across the country, and this dealt with the 2017 Nuns, Tubbs, and Pocket Fire. It destroyed 36,000 acres. It displaced 100,000 people. It destroyed over 7,000 homes, and 22 people lost their lives as a result of it. We heard from the head of their Department of Emergency Services and other key staff. And one of the key things they said right out of the gate, that Sonoma County was simply not ready to deal with this. When the fires broke out, the Red Cross was completely unavailable because there were fires already north of them in Napa County, and the Red Cross had taken all of the resources to respond to those. At one point in the fire, their emergency center was surrounded by fire on three sides. We were able to see some video of the tragic events. I could share numerous things that they shared with us that were very difficult. They talked about how situational awareness was so difficult because communications were a challenge, and they actually had cell phone challenges before the fire because of the topography of parts of Sonoma County, very hilly, difficult to access. So in many cases, first responders were trying to fight fires. They came down to basically all first responders focused on getting people out and let the fires burn. Some of the things that they have changed, they now have numerous fire cameras posted throughout the county, and these cameras utilize AI to monitor them. And the AI, if it believes it sees a fire in its infancy, notifies appropriate staff. They also noted that they did not have a proper alert and warning system. They had one single system. They had not been testing it on a regular basis. And as a result, some of it didn't work at all. And in other cases, people didn't realize what was taking place and ignored the alerts. They now have multiple alert systems in place. They do weekly drills with the alert and then one major test annually. Another change, this fire was started by the electric utility company. There was a problem with the system, and as a result of that, they now have a public safety power shutdown that can occur based on wind velocity and low humidity, and that's the circumstances they had. They had high winds, and very, very low humidity. And it was at the end of their dry season, and it just, everything was major risk. At this point, and this is an experience for me, at least, for a guy that lives in Pennsylvania, we were just getting ready to get off the bus, and some of you are already aware of this. A bunch of the cell phone alert systems went off on our bus, and I looked down, and there was an earthquake warning. The earthquake had occurred and ended up being about 3.5 hours north of us. When we got off the bus, several of the people that had been off the bus felt the earthquake. And within a matter of minutes, we got another warning, and that was a tsunami warning. And again, the center of this was Humboldt County. It was a 7.0 earthquake off the coast of California. But because of its location, the tsunami warning came through. And I'm aware of one of the commissioners that was with us was from Northern California, and they had to evacuate one of the towns in their county that was right on the coast. Ended up, there was no tsunami, but you really have an appreciation for things that some counties go through. We don't deal with earthquakes or tsunamis in Berks County. So that was a fascinating experience, and fortunately no injuries as a result of it. One other response to the fire that I was very impressed, at lunchtime, we listened to a group of panelists. They were able to put together a joint faith-based response team, and it's a nonprofit faith-based groups. I think they said there are almost 400 different groups in the county that now coordinate on a regular basis to help with response to any kind of an emergency. Now, the question always is this overreacting? Since 2017, there have been 3 major fires, 2 of the 3 larger than the 2017 fire. And the great news is in all 3 of these cases, there were no fatalities. They were able to respond in a much quicker way. They were also able to limit damage to structures. So pretty impressive. We did another tour later that day that I'm not going to get into, dealing with their water supply for the region. Again, very fascinating. On Friday, we did a tour of farms in the eastern part of the county, and specifically spent time at one of their dairy farms. These are family-owned farms. I talked to the one 5th generation young couple that are 5th generation dairy farmers, and they shared with us incident that they went through and culminated in the election this year. Several years ago, a bunch of folks from Berkeley, yes, that Berkeley, got on buses and decided they were going to stop factory farming in Sonoma County. Berkeley isn't even in Sonoma County, but they came in, they started a regular effort of just driving the buses right onto these private farms, people getting out. The owners of the farms explained that the people were not violent, but they just simply went anywhere they wanted to go. This was during heavy avian flu. All of these areas, and included poultry farms, swine operations, and dairy. Those are the 3 that we're going after. They would literally break locks on doors that said biohazard, no public admittance. And then they, through their INR, they have initiative and referendum in California. So you get a certain number of signatures, you can put anything on the ballot. And so this group from Berkeley got 37,000 signatures of folks from Sonoma County to put a question on the ballot that basically would have put these farms out of business as quote unquote factory farms. It was fascinating to listen to the effort between their county supervisors. So we call them county commissioners in California, they're supervisors, and specifically our current NACO president, James Gore, who got involved with the farmers. They actively started to campaign and explain to people what this really was and what it was going to do. And the campaign was vote no on J. J was the initial for the particular ballot question. This last November, that ballot question was defeated by 87%. And their Sonoma County Farm Bureau was very involved in it. I thought that was pretty neat. I'm a longtime member of our Berks County Farm Bureau, and to hear how the Farm Bureau also worked with them was very fascinating. So it was a great opportunity to see how another county is dealing with issues. They're not unlike Berks County. They're actually population-wise a little bit smaller. They have an urban area in the town of Santa Rosa, but their largest business or industry by gross revenue is agriculture. They have a huge wine industry, which I knew about, but I had no idea how big their dairy, swine, and poultry industry were. So that's some of the information I brought back from last week at the National Association of Counties Board of Directors. Commissioner Rivera, that's all that I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Linebaugh. We will now move on to Commissioner Santoni.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A few things. Number one, we both participated in the Connections Work graduation last Friday. The R3 program, I know that we've talked about this in the past, but it's really a great program that provides job training and vocational technical training for inmates that get out of prison, try to turn their lives around. I think the highlight of the whole ceremony is when the graduates get an opportunity to get up and speak and tell about how the program has changed them. Obviously, a lot of them have been through some troublesome times, have been through prison, et cetera. But I think our connection with Connections Work is really valuable, and that R3 program is something that really works and helps our community. I also participated last night with the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance. They had a thank you event for their sponsors, and Commissioner Rivera and I had an opportunity to speak and talk about the relationship that we have with the GRCA. I know we just passed a contract agreement today with them to show that our commitment with them to provide economic development and create great jobs and work with our business community is important here in Berks County. I will be taping my BC TV show today at the Grings Mill. I'm going to be highlighting the parks and also specifically the Festival of Lights. And that will air next Monday, the 16th at 6:30. So if you get an opportunity, check it out. There's another event coming up Wednesday, December 18th. 5th and Penn in Reading in conjunction with the Jewish Federation of Berks County, shine a light on anti-Semitism. The menorah lighting will occur at 5:15, and then there's a community reception following at Alvernia John R. Post Center. Guest speaker will be Mr. Hank Butler, the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Jewish Coalition, and a friend of the board is being honored for being the champion of peace, Michael Toledo, who's the Executive Director and CEO of Central Hispanos. So I will be attending that. Look forward to that opportunity. And the final item I want to talk about is to note the passing of a famous Berks Countyan, Rocky Calavito. Now, Rocky wasn't born in Berks County. He was actually born in New York City. But Rocky was a great baseball player that played many years for the Cleveland Indians. And I just wanted to note his passing. Condolences to his wife, Carmen, his son, Rocky Jr., daughter, Marissa, and other son, Stevie. Just a couple notes. I know people, I think most of the people in this room know the kind of baseball fan I am. And we don't really talk about people when they pass, but when they're legendary like Rocky is, I think it takes note to mention the great things that Rocky did. He was a 9-time All-Star, Actually, let me backtrack. I said Rocky was born in the Bronx, but came to play in Reading in 1953 for the Reading Indians. I don't know if people know this, but before the AA affiliation with the Philadelphia Phillies and the Reading AA franchise, Reading was the AA franchise for the Cleveland Indians, and Rocky played there in 1953. Met his wife Carmen, who is from Temple, Berks County lady, Berks County girl. I grew up in Temple as well. And Rocky's some of his statistics are pretty great. I mean, I didn't get an opportunity to see Rocky play because his heyday was in the late 50s and early 60s. I was born in 1960. But I talked to my dad yesterday, and he said he was one hell of a ball player. 9-time All-Star. He hit 30 or more home runs 7 times, 100 or more RBIs 6 times. He finished in the top 5 of the MVP in the American League 3 times. And in 1959 against the Baltimore Orioles, he hit 4 consecutive home runs. He also was a great fielder. He played right field most of the time, but he pitched a game for the New York Yankees late in his career. Rocky was a great ball player. There was a statue erected in his honor in the Little Italy section of Cleveland in 2021. So he's beloved in Cleveland. And I know that I had the opportunity to know Rocky personally. I knew his family. So I want to offer my condolences to them. He lived in the Temple area for many years and then moved to Bern Township where he lived until he passed this past Tuesday. He was 91 years old. He and his wife Carmel were married for 70 years. So there's been articles written, of course, in the Cleveland paper. We had one in the Reading paper today about his life and career. New York Times had an article. Many of the Cleveland papers had an article. But I also want to note he wasn't just a great ball player. He was a great guy, great man, father, husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather. So my condolences to the Colavito family on the passing of Rocky Colavito. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Santoni. I have some items here. One is this past Saturday was Christmas in the Air at the Reading Regional Airport. Had tons of fun there. For those of you that missed it, I did some my BCTV show. I did it there on Saturday, so you'll be able to see that on Monday, December 23rd, on my BCTV show at 6:30. If you can't see it at that time. I'm sure there's nothing else more important than my BCTV show on the 23rd, right? You can watch it then online as well, but it'll show when Santa Claus came in on a jet. They came off the jet, Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, and their helpers as well. They came out of the jet there. Instead of bringing the reindeer, them that day, they came in a jet to give the reindeer some rest. They came in, went inside, handed out gifts to the kids, and then headed back home. So a great show there, and Christmas in the Air. Also had, I tried to get the numbers, I couldn't get them, but there were over 200 kids that got a airplane ride that day as well, thanks to the volunteers who donated their plane and their time to take up the kids that day. So great opportunity there at Christmas in the Air. So I want to thank the Reading Regional Airport team for putting it together, and all the volunteers, sponsors, and supporters who helped make this a reality this year. Again, a little cold, but the weather was great. Yesterday morning, I had the opportunity to go to Raleigh's Place grand opening. And Raleigh's is a sensory-friendly cafe at Abilities in Motion on Heaster's Lane. Heaster's Lane deals with kids with disabilities, and this place is a cafe. It's sensor friendly, so there's places where the people can sit and it's covered, so they can't see things around them. There's places where they can sit and quiet in there as well. So it's a great opportunity there. If you have the chance, go visit them. They also have, I'm pulling it up here on my phone. They also have an esports gaming center right next to it, and it's also a sensory-friendly e-gaming center. They have the virtual reality, which have the eye sets. It has also ear sets and other things for those kids or adults that are aren't able to listen to loud noise and stuff like that. So really, really interesting. Again, if you have the ability to go there, go visit them and learn more about what they do there. Also, last night, Commissioner Santoni and I went to the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance thank you event they had at Berks Nature. We had the opportunity to speak, and Commissioner Linebaugh, we read your letter that you had prepared for them. We read that to them as well. I want to thank the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance for the partnership they have with the county. They've been a great asset and a great partner in helping moving the economic development here in Berks County forward. They've been a great supporter of the passenger rail and other initiatives that the county has had. Next Thursday is our last board meeting for the year, December the 19th. So if you have any comments for us, make sure you join us, as we will not be having a meeting on December the 26th. And also tomorrow, there is no elections board meeting. I'm sorry, today there's no elections board meeting. If we do have one, there would be a last one on the 19th, but we won't know that until next week when we see if there's anything that needs to be on the agenda. And that is all I have. We'll move now to the row officer comments.
I do not have anything at this time.
I don't either. Thank you, Commissioner.
I do, Commissioner.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I also want to echo the sentiments of Commissioner Santoni on the passing of Rocky Colavito, a great, not only American and Italian-American, a great Berks Countyan. He's a legend in Cleveland. For those who don't know, he is a legend in Cleveland. I had a friend in Cleveland reach out to me, and he's like, the city is literally in mourning. I mean, he's an absolute legend. When he was traded in 1960, as Commissioner Santoni knows, the fans were outraged because he had such a good year, a previous few years, and the trade was one of the worst in Cleveland's history. They lost for 30 years after that trade. I mean, they never recovered from it. And the fans never forgave the ownership and the management of the team. But he was a neighbor of Commissioner Rivera's and in Burton Township. Good guy, lived very close to both of us. We live in the same neighborhood, Commissioner Rivera and I. Don't let that get out anybody, but I don't want his property values to go down knowing that I live in the same neighborhood as Commissioner Rivera. But he should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about it. I don't know why he gets forgotten. I think the reason is he was such a humble man, a quiet man, very unassuming. He was a man's man, really. But some of the feats that he achieved, especially the 4 home runs, June 10th, 1959 in Baltimore, he's only one of 18 major leaguers to ever hit 4 home runs in one game, one of only 6 American League. Babe Ruth never hit 4 home runs in one game. Lou Gehrig was the first in the American League to hit. Mike Schmidt is one of the 18 to hit 4. But the story of that game, and if you would all indulge me for 2 minutes, the story of that game is absolutely amazing. I mean, he goes into Baltimore with the Indians at that time, now the Guardians. He was 3 for 28 prior to the game. He was in a slump. There was talks of maybe he's going to get traded. He comes out of the dugout, and one of the reporters says to him, "Are you going to start hitting today, Brock?" And he said, "You never know, maybe tonight." And he started by catching a fly ball in right field that was almost a home run, and a fan spilled beer all over him from the stands by accident. But so he comes back to the dugout. He's drenched in beer. It's not probably a good feeling. It's never happened to me, but it's probably not a good feeling. He walked, a so-so start, and then the home runs came. 1, 2, 3, gets to the 9th inning, and his manager says, "Go out and get that 4th home run, Rock." And he said, again, demonstrating his great humility, "I'll be happy if I just get a single." Well, he did it. The Baltimore fans gave him a standing ovation. 2 of his teammates, one of who was the iconic Billy Martin, who would go on to manage the Yankees. And as we all know, Billy Martin was very mercurial, to say the least. He and another teammate had been taken out of the game earlier, and they were in the showers. They heard about it. They came into the dugout to celebrate with him, wrapped in towels from the showers. They were so excited because this doesn't happen, 4 home runs in one game. But he should be in the Hall of Fame. And Commissioner Santoni, if you would co-sign a letter with me to the Hall of Fame, I think we should make an inquest about getting him on the veterans ballot and see what we could do. Maybe we could stir something up here and get him into the Hall of Fame.
I'd be happy to. Just to follow up on your trade, 1960, when he was traded from Cleveland, there was outrage, as you said. And the book was written because of it. It was called The Curse of Rocky Colavito. Now, The Curse of the Bambino is more famous because of the trade of Babe Ruth to the Yankees. But the Cleveland franchise hasn't won a World Series since 1946, and that's some of it is because they traded Rocky Colavito. So
it should have been a good trade because they traded for the batting champion. But
another little known fact about Rocky. I know we're talking about Rocky. We love Rocky. He was coach of the Kansas City Royals during the George Brett Pine Tar incident game. If I don't know if people, baseball fans know this, but George Brett hit a home run in the 80s, and they complained because the pine tar was too far. Rocky was a coach of the Royals and actually wouldn't give the bat to the umpires and was ejected from that game as well. So yeah,
he was also ejected later on a game in Yankee Stadium. His wife and his father were at Yankee Stadium being basically accosted by fans, and he went into the stands and got into it with the gentleman who was accosting his father and his wife, and I guess he was ejected from the game. It was a good ejection at that time, they called it. But but a very humble man, very unassuming, quiet man, but a terrific Berks County and a terrific Italian American, and I'm glad that we were able to recognize him here today. Thanks, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you, JD. It's I thought Commissioner Leinbach, he's also a big baseball fan. I thought he would have added something to the conversation as well.
Nothing needs to be added other than to say I love baseball, and I love that my colleague Commissioner Santoni and our prothonotary and my colleague JD gave us so much detail. And some people may say, why are you wasting time as commissioners? I think you got to celebrate people like this because most people are not going to be aware of the history of a guy like Rocky Colavito. I learned things today that I didn't know. And hey, Dante, JD, congratulations for sharing details about a great Berks County and a great Italian American. I enjoyed it, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are listening that enjoyed learning more about a Berks County. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now move on to public comment. Do we have anything online? No, we do have one in person. We have the list. No. Okay. We have Amy Bradford, who is the Client Relationship Manager from Penn State. So Amy, if you want to come up, state your full name and your township, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The segue with the learning is perfect for Extension because that's what Extension is all about, is learning. So my name is Amy Bradford, Client Relationship Manager for Penn State Extension. I have a 6-county responsibility, Berks being one of those. So I actually am a resident of Lancaster County.
We won't hold that against
you. That against me. Thank you very much. But certainly am excited to be playing a role here, specifically with Berks County and the Berks County Extension presence that we have. So I'm also pleased to be able to be your connection as the commissioners and your staff and the others within the county to be able to provide a link to Extension, our personnel, our programs and such. So please utilize me as much as you need to be able to help spread the word about the learning opportunities from Extension to the citizens of Berks County. On behalf of our educators, our volunteers, our personnel, we would like to thank you for your continued support of Extension and the mission that we have to provide science-based information and expertise to those needing resources or looking for community-based activities of which Extension can provide. Extension is rooted in agriculture, and we operate on an important foundation that agriculture certainly has a place within Berks County and Pennsylvania as a whole. We also strive to preserve the farm, but we strive to preserve the farmer. We are more than agriculture, however. We are helping farmers, yes, with business planning and other consultation that they may need to produce whatever livestock, crop, or product that they wish to grow and produce from their farms here in Berks County. But we are also youth. We are school programs and youth development and leadership development. Having reached 5,588 youth over the past year, we are proud to say that we are doing that through 4-H programs and other programs that agriculture can benefit from through the use of Extension here in Berks County. We are horticulturalists and master gardeners. We are researchers. We are environmental and watershed stewards and food safety, nutrition, and well-being advocates. Extension is workshops, webinars, articles, consultation, publications, and partnerships. No matter how you need the information, Extension has a way to get it to you. We are online at extension.psu.edu. If you're not familiar with us, please use that website to learn more. Just in the time that I've had here in the past quarter within Berks County, I've been getting to know partners such as the County Department of Agriculture and Barn. I've been to Penn State Berks and participated in a sustainability expo there, meeting other community nonprofits, other community organizations, county organizations that are all working for us to strive towards sustainability here in Berks County. We spoke to students, Penn State Berks students who had to present projects that they've done this semester on sustainability and how Extension can partner with them. I've visited Wilson High School with one of our food safety educators, where he spoke about career paths within the food industry that is not being a chef. Oftentimes people will think about being a chef, but there are many other avenues. He himself has worked at the Department of Agriculture as a food inspector, and most recently with Hershey, with the Hershey Company. I visited Blue Marsh Lake with one of our other educators as we spoke about and learned about the research and the work that they're doing there on the spotted lanternfly and the connection with California. The folks that were participating in that meeting that day were all from California and the winery industry in California, because they're using what has been taught and what has been learned here in Berks County to help them prepare for the spotted lanternfly when it arrives. We assume it'll arrive when it arrives in California. So that information that's being done based on the research here with the partnership with the Army Corps of Engineers and Extension educators is not only teaching our county residents, but spreading across the United States, and in this case, California. I just want to wrap up by saying again, thank you for supporting Extension's presence and positive impact in Berks County. I look forward to working with you and sharing more details about what we've done. In your email in the next few weeks, you'll receive our quarterly update that provides that more specific detail about each program. But I'm also looking forward to working with you to find new ways that we can support the citizens of Berks County and extend our education and Extension knowledge to them throughout the avenues we have available. So thank you.
Amy, thank you very much. I don't know, how long has the county and Penn State Extension been connected? Does anyone know? See, I don't know if Commissioner Leinbach knows. No, it's been a long time. They have space
Decades.
at the Agricultural Center,
Century.
a lot of relationship. How long? Decade, yeah. It's been a while. So a great working relationship between Penn State Extension and the county, not only Berks County, but I think almost all counties, if not all, throughout the Commonwealth as well. we really value and appreciate what you bring to our agriculture and to Berks County. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Any comments from my colleagues or anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we adjourn.
The
I'll
meeting
second
is
that.
adjourned. Meeting is adjourned.